Well, hello everyone, my name is Bryce Carter and I am the only undergraduate running for town council here in Blacksburg, Virginia. And well, I just want to first state a little history in the fact that since 1900 we've had at least as many students as town residents. And now today 60 to 70% of our population are students, and yet in the past century there's never been any student representation on town council. Isn't that astonishing? Now I hope to change that. So over high school, I took several summer internships in the construction industry. I've gotten a lot of background with LEED certification. I was in the Pentagon renovation. I also was over at T.C. Williams High School. They have a LEED certified rebuilding of the school out there. I got a lot of exposure to the construction industry, and at that point I was starting to think about getting involved with architecture engineering in college, and that's one reason why I decided Virginia Tech. And then I kind of was involved with environmental issues, and I ended up actually taking a class called Advanced Placement Environmental Science. So I took the class, and they told me that I had to do mandatory community service. And at first I was like, yeah, maybe I'll drop this class. Maybe it's not for me. But I said, you know what? I'll go ahead and try it. I'll see what happens. And I ended up on a boat going down Bull Run up in Northern Virginia. I got dropped off on the shore with a big orange bag. And they said, go clean up. And before me on the shore, I mean, it was just styrofoam pieces of straws and cups and oil, trash, runoff, tires. I mean, there was some ridiculous stuff out there. And I think, you know, you don't realize it then, but that was truly a life-altering moment for me. Because it made me realize that humans truly are impacting our environment. We're impacting our communities negatively. And there's something we can do about it. And whether you're cleaning up the environment, working with your community, and actually working a difference to change attitudes and get people involved. And so from there, instead of doing, I think it was the 16 hours of community service for the year, I did 100 hours of community service between tree plantings, invasive plant removal, and cleanups and that sort of thing. And so I came into college here at Virginia Tech undecided between engineering and architecture. I was kind of leaning towards green architecture field. And before I knew it, I ended up actually taking a class called Earth Sustainability, which is a 2-year core curriculum course. And it just kind of persuaded me to move towards the environmental field. And before I knew it, that fall, I ended up getting involved with the Environmental Coalition at Virginia Tech. We went to a conference over at William & Mary. It was a statewide conference. Virginia Tech had the most attendees there. And I kind of had another revelation there, because seeing a bunch of students, a bunch of people, a bunch of youth our age working together, knowing about these issues I've been learning about, and actually working to make a difference really inspired me. And ever since then, that's something I've been passionate about as far as empowering other people to get involved. So in my time here at Virginia Tech, and this is my 4th year involved with the Environmental Coalition at Virginia Tech, we've done countless events. We've done teach-ins, we've done panels with environmentalists and power companies. In fact, they were even suing each other. We hosted a huge statewide conference. I was the central coordinator and recruitment coordinator for Virginia Power Shift 2008. We had 400 to 500 students from across the state come here to Blacksburg. And we had a variety of other events I've been a part of. So this past spring, there was an opportunity in which an event called Focus the Nation, in which we bring out representatives and talking about how people can get involved. They said that it's about time that students got involved, and there was a student voice. And when they spoke about that, it kind of clicked with me that it's about time that someone steps up, and for me it made sense to make that next step and be involved in our community and get you all involved. And so that's kind of where I am today, running for town council, help represent student issues. You can read more about my campaign as far as the 2 pillars, which are community and sustainability. I believe firmly that sustainability is the future we have to pursue, and here at this university, where our motto is invent the future, we should invent the right future for us all. And so working hard to raise the student voice, to move forward with responsible community-centered growth, and pursue alternative transportation, pursue opportunities for students to get involved and be members and citizens of Blacksburg, and actively create the community that we all want. And so I'll just leave it there, and I'll just start taking questions. And of course, if you want to learn more details about the campaign as well, you can go to my website at brycecarter.com.
As a patron of our downtown bars, I have been very disappointed in the recycling program, or lack thereof. And I have on several occasions refused to give my bottle or can of beverage back to the bar and taken it home to recycle it because they don't recycle any of the bottles and cans that all get drank. So as town council member, how would you change this so that we could recycle all of these cans and bottles that, the liquid gets consumed every weekend?
Well, so the question is essentially recycling program downtown.
Yes.
And I have great news for you. This week, it's actually starting to get started.
No. Really?
Sustainable Blacksburg has been working with the town of Blacksburg as far as implementing a downtown recycling program, and the pilot program has just begun. They have a variety of containers in which different size businesses can have different size containers that will be used, and the different sizes, I think, is the variable cost of how they recycle it. And they use that as a cost incentive. So I think it's the more you recycle, the bigger the containers is. Some cost incentive. I have to look back into that. But anyway, that program's getting started, and there's already conversations about transitioning that to the residential aspects. And the goal of the program, of course, is to have weight-based trash pickup and recycling incentives, and then in the long run, move it to the rest of Blacksburg with residential use. That brought up a lot of hands. I think you were next.
Okay, how do you plan on acting as a liaison between the town and the students of Virginia Tech?
Yes, I plan to act as a liaison between the town and the students to, I'm actually currently creating a student advisory committee to work with the Blacksburg Town and Gown Relations Committee, and also the Virginia Tech SGA, as well as Town Council and also the University Administration, and providing a student voice. Because as I said, 60 to 70% of the population in Blacksburg are students, and yet we've never had a direct voice in Town Council. And I believe this would be a great opportunity to outreach to students about town issues and bring the student voice and student issues back to the town, and provide productive dialogue between all the players, because there are issues out there, which I'll get to in a minute, that affect us all, that even some headbutting between Virginia Tech and Blacksburg, that the one key component is the students, where if the students learned about these issues and the students had a voice, we can really make a difference in this town and make a positive difference and pursue the community that we all want.
In your literature, you mentioned revitalizing downtown to be a walkable communal space, et cetera, et cetera. So is that to imply that you're against any sort of kind of big business, big box store, Walmart, for example, in Blacksburg and this section of downtown?
Well, there's a couple aspects to that question. As far as downtown, I think it's a valuable resource, and I think, as I said, smart growth is essential. To me, smart growth is community-centered growth, mixed-use development, and I think downtown is a great example of where we can expand upon that. Currently, there are plans of College Avenue, in case you haven't heard. They're talking about making the one-way street from Main Street towards Squires, to be able to close it possibly Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, make it a completely walkable district. That way, businesses can expand their tables and everybody's available to eat outside. I think we, as a community, we need to invest in our downtown, and when we have investment in downtown, that's when the community is going to come out and use it regularly and provide regular patronage. As far as big box stores, I think any proposal for a big box store, you need to look very carefully at it and decide where is the need as far as Blacksburg and what are its effects going to be. Particularly with the First and Main development, the original application for it was a great plan. I would support it as the original application. Within it, they mentioned mixed use 5 times, and with it, they talk about residential development 10 times. And yet, there's absolutely none of that in the current plan, which is why there ended up being a lawsuit, and which is why Blacksburg won that lawsuit. It had nothing to do with anything about Walmart. It had nothing to do with a big box store, though that was a part of it, as far as the fact that they did not follow the original plan of that application to rezone the property to commercial use. Of course, there was lack of insight on town council's part, which is something that I plan to involve everyone with to make sure that something like this never happens again in Blacksburg and we don't end up in complications and butting of heads in town as we have. And this is something that now we have the First and Main development, and we need to work with it and make sure that it is successful. So as I said, going back to the big box store, there are several ideas out there as far as what the next step might be. I think we need to be very cautious of the externalities of that store. I mean, are there going to be increased police costs, increased traffic? How's it going to affect the neighboring elements?